All of the most dreaded criminal underworld groups in the world are included on this list, which has been assembled for your convenience. The most harmful reputations are associated with these criminal organizations, which also include notable individuals. Let's have a look. Sinaloa Cartel. When it comes to the Sinaloa Cartel, a known Mexican organization that specializes in the trafficking of drugs and the laundering of money, drugs are the name of the game. The Sinaloa Cartel and its former leader, El Chapo Guzman, are responsible for the introduction of a variety of illegal substances into the United States, including cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. The Drug Enforcement Administration (DEA) even claimed that the cartel was the most active smuggling and trafficking enterprise in the country when it comes to bringing massive quantities of these illegal drugs into neighborhoods all around the globe. The commission of murder, extortion, and bribery are also high on their list of priorities. Due to their vicious competition with the Tijuana cartel in Mexico, there have been numerous fatal shootouts that have taken place around the country. Even though El Chapo is currently being held in a prison in the United States as of 2019, the landscape of narco-trafficking is constantly altering. Barrio Azteca, also known as Los Aztecas. Unlike some of the other gangs on this list, which have histories that date back decades, this particular group was founded in 1986, which is considered to be relatively recent. The Barrio Azteca gang, also known as Los Aztecas, is a southern gang that originated in the Texas jail system. They later moved and became involved in the dangerous and unpredictable world of drug trafficking over the border between the United States and Mexico. The members of Barrio Azteca are typically in conflict with the Sinaloa Cartel, which is located in Mexico. They are seen as the muscle that helps the Juarez Cartel in their fight against the Sinaloa Cartel. The range of crimes committed by this gang has evolved beyond trafficking to include kidnapping, auto theft, and even murder for hire. They are a tough and loyal group that is willing to do pretty much anything to maintain the fear and respect of those who are in their immediate vicinity. Salvatrucha, often known as MS-13. To continue with the discussion of Las Vegas, the following gang on our list was hired by that organization to engage in conflict with their competitors. There is a high probability that the members of Salvatrucha, often known as MS-13, were recruited for this particular reason due to the reputation of savage violence that precedes them in the criminal underground. The majority of members of MS-13 are of Central American heritage, specifically from El Salvador, and they frequently have a significant amount of tattoos on their bodies. Interestingly, MS-13 was initially formed to shield Salvadorans living in Los Angeles from other local gangs operating at the time. The crimes committed by MS-13 nowadays, on the other hand, include anything from theft and human trafficking to the most heinous of all crimes, which is the prostitution of children. Latin Kings. The origins of the Latin Kings can be traced back to the early 1950s. They initially came together to fight against racial prejudice in the region and advance the state of affairs for Latinos in Chicago. Within the confines of the New York City jail system, in 1986, a breakaway cell known as the Bloodline emerged from the Motherland faction, which was the original Latin King group. What is most noticeable about the Latin Kings is how structured they are. Much like the Italian Mafia, they have a stringent set of regulations that members of their clearly defined chapters are expected to adhere to while they are in their organization. At the same time, members of the criminal organization have their mythology of rhetoric and tribal legends that function almost as a religious technique of transitioning from a condition of destitution on the streets to a level of enlightenment within the organization. The Bloods and the Crips. Even though you may not be familiar with the criminal underworld, you have probably heard of the Bloods and the Crips. A great deal of attention has been paid to their well-known rivalry, in which both gangs are engaged in a struggle for control of their respective Los Angeles territories. Because they were founded in 1969 through a partnership between leaders Raymond Washington and Stanley Tookie Williams, the Crips are significantly older than other gangs. Even back then, Washington and Williams were adversaries of the early iterations of the Bloods. However, in modern times, their relationship has evolved into something comparable to a dangerous gangland legend. Indeed, the Bloods and Crips are among the most vicious gangs in the United States. They engage in a wide range of criminal activities, including robbery, prostitution, and even murder with their members. Munjiki. Even though its name might be translated as multitude or united people, this cult is shrouded in mystery and adheres to strict secrecy. It would appear that the Munjiki's mission is to vehemently oppose the influence of the West and to advocate for the revival of native canyon customs. The Mungiki have been known to engage in illegal behavior, like extortion and murder, while simultaneously demonstrating a belligerent and militaristic attitude. This is even though they attract a remarkable number of young people. Additionally, concerns have been made regarding the degree of connection that the Mungiki have with the local administration and police. Some of these individuals have been accused of turning a blind eye to the Mungiki in exchange for a portion of the earnings that the gang makes. Medellin Cartel. Probably at the very least, you are familiar with this group because of Pablo Escobar, the notorious leader of the organization. At a certain point in time, the Medellin Cartel was recognized as one of the most significant traffickers of cocaine into the United States. It was reported that they exported almost 85% of the supply. Given the magnitude of the cartel, it needed to establish several subgroups to address the myriad of issues that could limit its expansion. The cartel was able to prosper from the middle of the 70s until the early 90s thanks to the power and support of corrupt Colombian politicians. Small armed organizations were formed to frighten labor groups and impede unionization. It was not even the possibility of Escobar being extradited to the United States that could prevent him from boldly attempting to keep his cartel alive through acts of assassination and violent terrorism. Triads. It is common practice to use the name triads as a catch-all phrase for organized crime in China. Nevertheless, the reality behind this gang, or combination of gangs, is significantly more complicated. In addition to having particularly robust activities in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, the triads are components of a Chinese criminal organization that is both extremely broad and diverse in its overall scope. On the other hand, they are also present in the Western region, with the Huaqing in San Francisco, which is also known as Dub C, or Insane Dragons, being a typical example. In the course of their daily operations, the triads have engaged in a wide range of illegal activities, ranging from smuggling and forgery to pornography, kidnapping, and murder. Triads of today tend to concentrate more on white-collar crimes and also place less of an emphasis on ritual because of this. In several cases, as part of the initiation process, members have been forced to take and comply with a total of 36 vows of honor. Yakuza. The Yakuza are yet another criminal organization that is largely recognized for its activities within a single nation, specifically Japan. However, these gangs are also involved in activities on a global scale. The origins of the Yakuza can be traced back to the 1600s, and even today, they continue to uphold a stringent code of conduct and ritual that is connected to this era. It is also not unusual for members of the Yakuza to have tattoos covering their entire bodies, and the Yakuza are well known for their semi-legitimate commercial endeavors within Japanese society. However, street-level crimes, such as armed robbery, are often avoided by the Yakuza, even though certain clans within the Yakuza hierarchy have been known to engage in a wide range of illegal activities, including sex trafficking, loan sharking, and gun running. Sicilian Mafia. When it comes to organized criminal syndicates in Italy, the Camorra in Naples is another notorious group. However, the Sicilian Mafia, also known as La Cosa Nostra, is without a doubt the most well-known of the bunch. This is due to the abundance of depictions of the Mafia that have been made in films throughout the years, including Goodfellas, Casino, and The Godfather franchise, amongst others. Although the structure of La Cosa Nostra has seen several changes throughout its history, the organization's primary focus has always been on the distribution of power among the many familial factions. There have been several gangland shootouts that have made it to the front page of the newspaper, even though clan rivalry and bloodshed have always been a part of the game. Enjoyed the content? Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Your support helps us bring you more awesome content. Let us know your thoughts and what you'd like to see next.